What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to check out this bike from Euybike. This is the S4 Pro Max dual motor. So dual motor e-bike with a generous 30 amp hour battery pack on it. Right now it retails at $18.99 and it seems to be spec'd out pretty nice for that money. So let me tell you all about it. The S4 Pro Max has a 1000-watt geared hub motor in both the front and rear wheel, single or dual motor drive mode, which is selected using the keypad. Up front is a double crown suspension fork that has compression adjustment. The rear suspension is a fully adjustable DNM Air Shock. It has a frame-mounted 52-volt, 30 amp hour battery pack, 4-piston Logan hydraulic brakes with oversized 203mm rotors, a torque sensor for pedal assist, and a complete lighting package, including both front and rear turn signals. Now that you know roughly what we're working with here in terms of components, let me give you a feel for what the ride quality is like. All right, let's take this bike for a ride, see how she feels. But before I do that, what do you think of the design of this bike? It's basically just tubular steel frame, and that's it. I mean, it's very minimalist. This bike has everything it needs and nothing it doesn't. I mean, there's no graphics, no beauty covers over anything. It's basically everything it needs to function, and that's all. So, I mean, I kind of like it. It's very simple. Everything's really easy to get to. You know, all the wiring is really easy to get to. You can see everything, the battery, the controller's underneath the seat there. Shock is super easy to adjust. So I don't mind the look. What do you guys think? Drop in the comments. Let's go for a quick spin on the EUI S4 Pro Max all-wheel drive bike. I've been keeping it in all-wheel drive pretty much all the time and pedal assist 5 the whole time. It's got pretty decently little zippy power. And this bike, the first thing I'm going to mention about the ride experience or ride quality is it has a really short wheelbase. Really short. From axle to axle, I think it's like 42.5 inches. That is crazy short. It feels like a really compact, small design. I mean, a lot of the bikes I've got in my garage, even my 20-inch folding bike, axle to axle, I think it's 45 inches. So this thing is really short and stout. And for me, at 6 feet tall, I feel a little bit big on it. Now on their website, they say 5'3" to 6'3" for, you know, potential rider heights. I think 5'3" would be great on this. I think you're going to get all your foot down probably at 5'3". I bet you 5 foot tall could probably ride this and still get their toes down. 6'3" on the other hand, you're going to feel probably really big on it. I feel a little bit big. I'm trying to lean back now and pedal. Pedaling is probably one of the harder things for me to do on this bike. I've been riding it around just kind of like a little motorcycle because when I try to pedal, my knees are coming up real high. I'm pretty scrunched up pedaling because I got long legs at 6 feet tall. So keep that in mind. If you're a taller rider, it's probably going to feel a little small for you. But if you're a shorter rider, you're in luck because I think this thing is extremely rideable. Very manageable seat height, which is 32.5 from the ground to the top of the seat. 32.5 inches. That's pretty good. That's very manageable. Now, as far as comfort, it's not a bad seating position. I mean, the handlebars come up decently high. They're nice and wide, so you got good control. I mean, that's, I think, one of the good things about the short wheelbase. It feels super nimble. It doesn't feel heavy, although it does weigh a decent amount. It's 96 pounds with the battery installed. Weight capacity, 400 pounds on this one, so carries a pretty heavy rider. The seat is super soft, and it's really, really nice looking seat. Like a brown leather seat. Looks really sharp. It is super soft. I like the seat a lot. Good squish in the suspension. I mean, it travels quite a bit. I had to adjust it a little bit, but that's the beauty of the adjustable suspension is I could dial it in to fit me better. It came with about 160 PSI in the shock. And I was getting like maybe a 3/4 to an inch of movement out of it. And I took the air pressure down. I took it down to about 120 PSI, and that really softened up the ride. So great suspension in the back. The fork does have the, you know, compression adjustment knob here on the top. And I mean, you can dial that up and down to make the shock stiffer, softer, okay shock. I mean, I don't think it's super top of the line, but it seems to function just fine. So great job on the suspension. I think A+ on the rear shock. It's a DNM Air Shock, fully adjustable with compression and rebound. You can set the air pressure to whatever you need. So if you're going to make a dual suspension bike, that's exactly what it should have. So great job on that. Suspension feels nice. I've had no problem doing, you know, bumpy roads, dirt roads, bumpy fields. I think that's fine. If you're going to do really gnarly off-road riding, I don't know. I didn't try that. It's not something I do a whole lot of, but around town, suspensions felt pretty good. The grips, same basic rubber grips that come on a lot of e-bikes. I'd probably change these out. You can see, I can just twist them and turn them. They're not super locked into place. I like the locking grips a little bit better, but that's an easy fix. 20 bucks in 2 minutes, you can change those out. All right, so pretty comfortable ride for me, and I emphasize ride because I just rode it. I really didn't pedal this thing much at all. I'm 6 feet tall with kind of long legs. So ergonomically, the way this was set up, it just didn't work for me to do a whole lot of pedaling. So I just rode around pretty much like a little motorcycle, and it was great for that. So think about how you're gonna use your bike, how much pedal effort you actually wanna put into the bike. I would say shorter folks are probably gonna have an easier time pedaling this one. Now, as far as the function of the bike, everything seemed to work great. Here's some notes on the functions of the systems. Now for all the controls, I mean, you got 7-speed mechanical gears over here that seem to shift just fine. I really have just been keeping it in like 5 or 6 and using the pedals on, a couple pedals on takeoff just to accelerate faster. Other than that, I haven't really shifted at all because I'm not really pedaling much at all on this thing. You got right hand twist throttle, which is linked to your pedal assist number. So the higher the number of pedal assists, I'm in 5 now, so I've got full throttle. If I'm down in 1, you only get level 1 power out of the throttle. So they are linked, just know that. This bike also has a complete lighting package. So your turn signals are right here. These buttons are really easy to get to, and you get a turn signal indicator on the screen to let you know it's on. It's flashing at you just like in a car, so you know if you leave your blinker on or not. That's cool. I've had numerous bikes with turn signals. None of them have ever had the indicator on the screen. That's handy to have. So easy to use the turn signals. Great job on that. Turn them off. You just push them once to turn them on, push them off again to cancel. They're not self-canceling or anything like that. And then you got headlight, tail light, brake light. So just every light you need. Perfect. That's a great lighting package. For pedal assist, you got a torque sensor. I like that. Even though I'm not pedaling a whole lot, I do like having the torque sensor. I think they just function better than cadence. I like my input into the pedals to translate into motor power instead of just rotating the pedals. So torque sensor, it's a higher end part. And you can see I'm able to pedal in pedal assist 5 at low speed. I'm only going 11 miles an hour. And then when I push, there it goes. It's off and running. So it functions really well. It is a direct correlation to your input, which outputs motor power. So torque sensor functions very, very well. I like it a lot. And it has the benefit too, since my throttle is linked to pedal assist, I can just keep it in pedal assist 5 all the time. And that way I have full throttle all the time. And I can still operate at low speeds. You can't really do that if you have a cadence sensor. If you're on pedal assist 5 with a cadence sensor and you start pedaling, the bike's gonna go like crazy. But I can pedal this 8 miles an hour, pedal assist 5. So torque sensor, very nice. I like it. Now the one last system we gotta talk about is the drive mode system. All-wheel drive, single motor drive. That's all done right here with this button on the bottom of the keypad. It's the I button. And you hold that down to toggle through what drive mode you want to be in. So I'm in all-wheel now. If I hold the I button, you got to hold it for quite a while, like a good solid like 2 seconds. It put it into this mode where none of the wheels are lit. It's no drive. It's no motor mode. I don't know why they have that setting, but that's what that is with the blank wheels. It means no motors are active. So if I hold it again, 1,000, 2, 1,000, there it goes. I'm in rear wheel. You got rear wheel only. It does feel more sluggish in single motor. That's why I like having the dual motor. Hold it again, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. Yeah, it takes a while. It's like full 2 seconds to change modes. I'm in front wheel now, and then hold it one last time, and I'm back to all wheel. So it's a little cumbersome changing modes. I will say that. It takes quite a while to toggle all the way through all the different drive modes. But like I said, it's so drivable in all-wheel drive that I just leave it in all-wheel drive all the time because you don't get crazy front wheel burnout. It's very, very calm, drivable bike in all-wheel drive. So I just leave it there. It's a good power delivery. There's some all-wheel drive bikes I have that I wouldn't dare throw a new rider on because they would wreck it immediately. This one I really wouldn't hesitate to let probably pretty much anyone ride this. I don't really think it's gonna get away from them. Now from a start like this, you get front motor instantaneously. Like it kicks in and you take off, right? But if you're rolling like this and you hit the throttle, it's a about a 1.5 second delay before the front motor kicks in. Not sure why they built that in. I don't have any issue with it. I like having the front motor going from a stop. That's when you need it. You want the pull off the line. And if I lift up on the handlebars a little bit, you can get the front wheel to spin. So a little bit delay when you're rolling, but from a start, front motor engagement is immediate. Now all the systems seem to function a-okay on this bike, but by now you're probably wondering, what about the power? What is the power like? That's why you buy an all-wheel drive bike, right? You want the acceleration, you want the hill climb power, maybe the speed. So let me show you how those tests went. All right, so this bike has dual 1,000-watt motors and a single controller that's 22 amps. So it gives 22 amps to each wheel because it says 22 times 2, 44 amp total on the controller. So decent power. It's not crazy power, right? It's solid, controllable power. I mean, we're going slightly uphill now and it's accelerating, pulling me up nicely. I weigh 180 pounds. If you weigh 300 pounds, maybe it doesn't feel as zippy for you. If you weigh 100 pounds, it probably feels super strong. So got to take that into consideration as well. Let me show you. All right, time for a top speed run on the Euybike. We're in all-wheel drive mode. Nice long straight stretch. Up to 27 miles an hour, no problem. Still pulling. We hit 30 on the display, 28 GPS. I feel like it wants to go a little faster. There, it's kind of kicking in more. 34 on the bike, 31 GPS. It's kind of holding right there. That feels like max speed. 31. The bike's reading about 33.9. There you go, top speed. 31 miles an hour, that's pretty respectable. All right, coming up to the hill climb test. We test all the bikes right here on the same hill and we time them going up. Now, if it's a single motor e-bike, it'll climb the hill. You know, the fast ones go maybe 20 seconds for a really fast single motor. And the dual motors usually do it down in the teens. So we're in all-wheel drive. We're in pedal assist 5. We got full power. Let's try this Euybike. I think it's going to post a pretty decent time. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Just ever so slight wheel spin off the line. It's got great power delivery. Up to 16, 17 miles an hour already. It's going to be a pretty good time. 19 and a half. And then we cut the time right. Now, that was solid. That was solid. It's got great hill climb power. I'll give it that. It's not outrageous power where you're getting that ton of front wheel spin and a huge burnout and it's crazy. Here's a low speed all-wheel drive right-hand turn. And I didn't feel like I was going to lose control at all there. All right, so here is an all-wheel drive takeoff for you. 3, 2, 1, go. So nice strong pull. It's not like throw you back into your seat, but it's got a decent acceleration off the line. It's just solid power. I do like the power delivery on it. The brakes feel super strong on this thing too. They're Logan brakes, hydraulic brakes. There's a lot of feeling in the lever and you can really lock up the wheels anytime you want. There are oversized rotors. I think there are 203 rotors on there too. So they are super strong. Let's do a high-speed brake here. Run it up over 20 and hit the brakes for you. So there's about 25 and brakes. Very strong. Actually, the back end came up in the air because the front tire stuck so much. I did an endo. I don't think I've ever done that before. They're very powerful. So for me, this bike was just a solid performer. That's the word I kept coming back to, was solid. I mean, it's built solid. There's no creaks and rattles in it. The performance was solid numbers. 31 miles an hour, that's pretty good. It's not the fastest bike out there, but it is certainly not the slowest. Same with the hill climb. I mean, it's not the fastest all-wheel drive up the hill climb, but it's way faster than any single motor bike would be, and it posted a pretty solid time. It's got great brakes on it. The torque sensor worked really well. It's not a dual battery bike, but for being a single battery pack, it's got pretty great capacity. 30 amp hours is a lot of battery capacity. The suspension felt solid. I mean, it's not a name brand fork up front, but you got this compression adjustment on the top. I was able to adjust that a little bit. Seemed to work just fine. The DNM Air Shock in the back was really nice. I adjusted the air pressure to give me a nice soft ride. There's not one particular thing that stands out about this bike. There wasn't one thing that was like head and shoulders, you know, this is the thing that makes the bike. It was just kind of a good all-arounder for me. So for this bike's strengths, here's what I'm gonna say. I think it's spec'd out pretty good for the money. I mean, you're getting oversized brakes, decent sized battery pack, a torque sensor, a fully adjustable rear suspension, dual motors, a full lighting package. That's pretty good. I think it's a pretty good value for the money. Other things are, solid power. It's got good power and a good power delivery. The way it puts the power down to the road for the rider, it functions really well. There's not a whole lot of wheel spin. It's just a solid power. It's got a very manageable seat height. 32.5 inches, that's pretty low for a fat tire e-bike, really. So very manageable seat height. And again, the lighting package I really like. You got blinkers up front, separate blinkers, a nice looking headlight. And then when the taillight's on, it kind of cycles through this different color pattern. It's just constantly changing colors. Then when you pull the brakes, it goes to straight red, and then you got signals in the back too. So really nice lighting package on this one, complete with turn signal indicators on the screen so you can tell if you left your blinker on or not. Now for some important things I think you might want to know if you're considering buying this bike. The first thing I'll say is the battery charger. The one they gave me for this bike anyway, it was a 2 amp battery charger. And this is again, 30 amp hour battery pack. So if you run this battery pack dead, it is going to take forever to recharge it. Using a 2 amp charger is going to take you like 15 hours to charge this thing up from drained to fully charged. So it's kind of a slow battery charger. Another thing is there's no storage on the bike. There's no front basket mount. I don't see any basket on their website. Same with the rear rack. There's no rack for sale on the website. There is mounting holes right here on the frame. I guess you could make your own rack, but something to keep in mind if you're going to try to carry cargo. There's really nowhere to put cargo on this. You'd have to carry a backpack with you. And then the drive modes. It's a little bit cumbersome to toggle through the different drive modes. You have to hold that button, and it takes a minute to rotate through them all. Again, it wasn't really a problem for me. I just left it in all-wheel drive the whole time. But if you planned on switching the wheels and the drive modes a lot, you might get kind of frustrated with that. But the way it delivers the power, I just kept it in all-wheel drive the whole time, and it was really easy to drive. So that's probably what most people are going to do with it. And the last thing I'll mention, I always mention about fat tire e-bikes, is the weight. 96 pounds. So in terms of a bicycle, yeah, it's really heavy, right? But in terms of an all-wheel drive e-bike, that's actually pretty light. I have multiple bikes in this garage that are all-wheel drive that weigh like 125, 130 pounds. So depending on what you're comparing it to, it might be heavy or lightweight, but make sure you can handle 96 pounds. Well, I hope I was able to give you a better feel for this dual motor bike from Euybike. If I missed something, put your question in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer it if I can, or just leave me a comment and let me know what you think of this one. Now, if you do decide this is the bike for you and you want to buy one, be sure to use the discount code in the link below in the description. That'll help support my channel. I hope you found this video helpful, informative, maybe at least entertaining. If you did, consider hitting subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.